All right, back to gaming again. If I was all right, we have a new campaign, one that me and the boyos here have been playing for the past 5 weeks.
Something like that.
I
Off
think
and
it's
on.
been more.
Has it been more than that?
Are we counting the
been
ones that we
more.
did? Are we
Yeah.
counting the ones where we didn't play?
Well, if we were counting the ones where we didn't play, it'd be like 10 weeks maybe. Just because how we do it.
I think it was like the beginning of December when we started this.
Yeah. What planned to be like a one session interim waiting for a player turned out to, well, it started up a whole new season of quote unquote the anime. So here we are. The Adventurers of Marr, set within the same general place as the Old Mage Party, but with people actually from this world.
Don't worry, they're not any less autistic.
Unfortunately not, no. I hate YouTube subs. Anyway, so we begin our game with the player characters a bit spread out and far apart. Let me just pull some onto screen right now. Let's just introduce characters first. Doc, you want to explain what your character is?
Skagen is an elven sellsword and professional dungeon diver who just makes her living as an adventurer and mercenary of sorts around the town of Freeport. She's a rogue class, but not really a thief or assassin or that sort of rogue.
More like a scout or something akin to that, right? Yeah. Alright, and let's see, who next should I introduce? The only other person with the mono character that they can play anytime. Let's remove that elf off screen. I forgot they added this. Here's La Latina, the group's paladin that usually misses their attacks, but is a big wall of AC. Played by our good old Chase here on the Cabal. But Chase is asleep or something, so he's going to be missing most of the session if he does wake up. Let's see.
Is he just canonically female now?
Huh? Well, he missed it, so of course the character is Sir Lalatina.
Of course.
Whatever, he just has to live with that and play with it. Next character, Korinne's Sid.
Yes, Sid, which is a nickname for the actual full name, which I will not say this time, but you can read it. Oh, fuck it, I'll say it. Sigurd's daughter, Bruvarisi. If I can say that properly, it's kind of hard to pronounce, but that was why I made it intentionally difficult to pronounce, because fucking dwarves. But she is an itinerant professional spelunker.
A worthy job for a dwarf.
Who has a disdain for elves, which shouldn't have to be mentioned, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway. Particular disdain for elves.
A justified disdain for elves.
Yes.
Okay, and
Disdain for a particular elf.
Erazem, I didn't get you a token because quite frankly, I wasn't given the picture. But here's your character that you labeled Bellatrix.
Yes. She's a kid trained to kill by some unsavory characters, escaped, and is now on the hunt for revenge. An airbender, basically. Do I have more? I don't think so.
Sir Lalatina joins us.
Ah, Lalatina, you're here.
Don't call me Latina.
Well, sorry, we already introduced your character.
Fuck you.
You know what they say, snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you Lalatina.
You want to try that again, Bright?
No, I do not.
1 second, let me get my robe first.
You gotta get your robe.
He is in the Middle East. They haven't updated their fashion for like 2,000 years.
He's got to get in character.
He's not wearing full plate.
That you know of.
Alright, anyway, were you done with your character, Erazem?
Yes.
Okay. Now, lastly, the person I'm about to make a token for, this is Varian Astra, or Astera from...
Varian Astera, yes. He is a half-elf blood wizard / life wizard who is a healer for hire. That's about it. That's all I need to...
and am I
they got
going to
him
have
now?
to kill him off in the next couple sessions?
This one's less powerful. You won't have to kill this one off.
Okay, but you did metagame it, so I'm going to have to kill it off. Alright.
Well, no, it's not... Listen, I didn't have enough talents to metagame it, alright?
This time. Okay. Let me see if I can...
Although he might get killed by Sid just for being a half-elf.
Or by...
Feels a bit too personal. Let die would be more accurate.
Or by Skogan for being inferior stock.
Or he's going to be such an effective healer that nobody will ever die.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That is definitely going to happen.
You could always just tell Sid that you know your mother was raped by an evil elf, and yeah, she'd probably buy that.
Well, I mean, what elf isn't evil?
I mean, they're elves. That's kind of like all they do.
I don't see how an elf male could rape anything. They simply don't have the bone density.
Who said it had to be a male?
Oh, I see.
Okay, getting off
suppose
that
an elf female-
topic. Chase, did you want to introduce your character, or are you still fetching your robe? This is your time to quickly undo the name that was given to it.
Hello. I'd
Going
like
once,
to introduce
going
Sir
twice.
Abdullah. What? Why? Wait, I'm talking. Talking here.
Alright, finish the introduction.
Alright. My character is Sir Abdullah. He is a fanatic of Aurorel who is so stupid he can be easily tricked into anything else.
And has
Also,
been on
ignore the
occasion.
Latina fucking token because that's not him.
That is completely accurate. I don't know what Chase is talking about.
Let's see if I still even have the Abdullah token. I mean, what? There is no such token.
What do you mean?
He's
This is the
he's always
Abdullah.
been Lalatina.
somehow the pink turban is gayer than playing a woman.
I mean, yeah. The nickname will still remain Lalatina, though. Okay, well, I'm updating that. Oops. There you go. I changed your default token. Couldn't be a superior character. Be 30 seconds. And yes, I've made Bright's player character visible to everyone, and do the same for Korinne's character in your journals. Oops, have my mic off. Yes, I made both Korinne and Bright's character visible to everyone in their journals, as well as apparently Erazem. So you can now see the faces of the other players. Alright, the game starts in this town of Freeport, in the vast desert region of known as the Ocean of Marr to the locals, or simply just Marr to anyone from the 3 nations that border this desert. A highly militaristic imperial nation. To the northwest is the Norman French hybrids of the Kingdom of the Arness. And to the south and southwest is Courtnox, a nation pretty much ruled by the undead. And to the southeast across the body of water is a possible sister country to Marr on the island of Moor. There dwells pirates. Freeport is a single city-state of free peoples, but they do not like associating with pirates. They're known more for being traders in the region, freely trading between all of their neighboring countries. Within here are several different guilds and associations. The highest, well, the most authoritative would be the Freeport Authority, ruled by their Lord Mayor, and what passes for a military is the Freeport Militia, which is filled with the ranks of ex-gladiators that serve in the Ring of Blood here in Freeport. And we start this session today, I think, in the Adventurers Guild, Skagen.
Yes.
Your character has been bereft of their companions for at least a couple days now at this point. Clovis, the priest that you've known so well for your last job, has buggered off on account of a companion swearing to end his life by any means necessary, and some other factors, such as palling around with a necromancer. These things that you could only tell stories of to people at the bar that might disbelieve you if you tell them so. But to your knowledge, Sid and Abdullah are still sticking around because one of the two are business-minded, and Abdullah just simply has nowhere else to go.
Abdullah just follows the only strong woman he's ever met like a puppy.
Fuck you. That's right from Abdullah.
Can you really call it a woman, though? I mean...
It is an elf. Or is this going to be a reference to Sid?
Yeah. I believe Skagen is probably more feminine than...
It's hard to call either of them a real woman.
Oh, yeah. Good shame, though.
Well, I mean, at this point, does Lalatina even know whether or not, Sid is female? Because there was that whole thing where, like, it's a dwarf. Do we really know?
I don't think anybody has tried to check.
Angry, strong thing in plate mail.
I only think the prior character of Francis would have been brave enough to check. Anyhow. Your character, Skagen, is in the Salty Dog Tavern. The normal port-side location for all of your adventure needs. You've been left decently wealthy enough from your last job that you haven't really had to go searching for jobs, and so pretty much you're just waiting for an occasion for a job to come to you, possibly.
She's sitting at a table by herself with about almost a dozen skulls, all cleaned and defleshed, sitting on the table before her. She also has a bottle of ink and a pen, and she has one of the skulls in her hand and is drawing lines marking regions and labeling those regions of the skull in Elvish.
I'm sure the people and townsfolk will love that.
Oh yes, the other patrons really love the skulls, but
I'm sure nobody has gone to the Bronze Helmos about the crazy elf that's sitting in the tavern just playing with skulls.
well, it's an improvement over. It's an improvement over last week. They have flesh removed this time.
Look, she helped rescue like 5 of the bronze homes. They're.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying they would do anything about it. I'm just saying that the townspeople would probably be like, "Hey, do something about it."
There might have been a bar fight or two. Well, one of the collection might have been slightly damaged beyond normal dwarf hammering that occurred to it in acquisition.
There may have been a bar fight. Skagen took the opportunity to add another skull to her collection.
Are they as
If
valuable
she
if they're
gets to
not
add another
dark elf
skull,
skulls?
can I add
though?
another toe?
God no.
At least you're not adding another set of panties.
Well, of course. Not all of them are half elf ladies.
It's just confirmed now that Lalatina has a thing for elves.
Well, I think we know who Varian's father is. Anyway.
Oh no. But Varian's mother was a human. Hold on a minute.
Okay, anyway. Speaking of the bronze helms, the door to the tavern opens up, and one of their number appears within. The bronze barbute that the Freeport militia wears is very iconic for their uniform. The man that entered had a dark cape behind him as he that fluttered in the desert wind before it settled by the indoors. He removed his helmet off and looked about the place until he found the site of the elf cleaning and marking her skulls in a surgical manner as she appraises them.
Hopefully he'll tell her to go to her room and do that.
Maybe.
But then again, it's an elf. It'd take it as a proposition.
It's such a shame that
as a proposition.
Such a shame that Sid's on other business right now. Anyway, the man approaches Scoggins' table, barely deigning to glance at her work before introducing himself. I am Lieutenant Valerian of the militia. There has been a bounty posted on the board at the Adventurers Guild. Our good captain wished to inform you first, considering prior relationships. This is when he looks at the amount of skulls, obviously remembering a time not so long ago where Scoggin dumped a whole bunch of severed heads on the floor of the Warriors Guild and had to sift through the pile just to find the one that she thought was the leader.
Look, it's not her fault all dark elves look alike.
Yes, it turns out there is a uprising of orcs in the desert of late. These orcs are unusual in the fact that they have been walking around with unstolen weapons. They look rather decently forged for orc hands, and there has been some concern that the guard would like to pass down onto you.
So you might say the orcs are revolting?
They're always revolting, elf. But now it's a revulsion that's worthy of attention. Would this be a bounty that you'd be interested in, or should I tell the captain that you have no interest in it?
That does sound like good sport, slaying orcs. I'm sure I'll find quite a few specimens to add to my collection for scientific study of their skull pans, and they are using better than their average crude weapons. You say they might make for interesting specimens.
I have to inform you, of course, at first, that Captain Tybalt did remind me to stress that we're not collecting body parts of these orcs. This new clan of orcs that have been wielding weapons of decent enough quality are known as the Ironhide orcs.
So you want their hides?
No body parts this time. Look,
Can I keep the toes?
Where the hell did that voice come from?
Abdullah
Anyway.
sits in the corner like a kicked puppy, waiting to get little Scooby snacks from the elf that follows around.
Yes. Exactly.
The feminine knight in full plate armor, yeah.
It's not
Well,
a feminine. Fuck you! No, god damn it!
Yeah, just retarded then. That's fine. Anyway, he glanced the way of Abdullah before looking back at the elf he was talking to. One being a more pleasant sight, but the other being a person with intellect to speak to. Just had to wait for that to sink in. These Ironhide orcs, they wear characteristic belts associated with their clan. We'd want you to collect one of those, and we're willing to promise... let's see. Didn't open that. Yes, we're willing to promise 10 gold coins per belt that you collect. And if you cull some of their leader or provide with sufficient information that could lead to the whereabouts of whoever is supplying these weapons or crafting these weapons for the orcs, Captain Tybalt said that there would be a bounty worth your while.
Interesting. Now, there's nothing stopping me from collecting skulls for my own research purposes, is there?
As we've warned you before, do not display the fleshy ones in public places. We're gonna catch ogres if you do that.
Oh, very well.
Now, if you'll excuse me...
that sounds like an assignment that would be of interest to me.
Very well. We'll tell the Adventurers Guild to simply delay posting that on their board. And we shall inform them that we have a party already on the case. Will it just be you and the Paladin, or...
I think I'll enlist the aid of a few more compatriots. There was a dwarf that assisted us on our last assignment for the Bronze Helms that, despite her obvious shortcomings, proved useful. We'll need to find someone that can heal our wounds if necessary, and perhaps another magic user of sorts might be a good fit to round out the party.
I'll leave such concerns to you. I, meanwhile, will inform Tybalt of this. Have a good time with your skulls, he says, disdainfully looking over Scoggins' collection. Rather than immediately going for the door, he finds the disgruntled-looking barkeep and seems to purchase a beverage for himself.
Abdullah, is it? Scoggins says, looking over at Lalatina.
It does fit us, but why do you keep calling me La Latina? My name is not La Latina.
Oh, it's an elven term for persons of your sort.
What should I roll to see if I understand that insult?
Linguistics?
Okay, let me roll linguistics.
Do you have linguistics?
18. Oh wow, I've been rolling really well since I became a DM.
So
Hey, what is that supposed to mean?
It doesn't sound
do you know
anything
where,
like
where you
Elvish.
can, do you happen to know where we might find that dwarf that was that braved the caverns with us?
Would I know where the dwarf is?
Roll perception for something that you might have seen in the past.
Perception.
No,
A 6.
you would not.
No idea.
Scoggin sighs heavily at the uselessness of La Latina and says, "Very well, I suppose I'll have to go and hunt her down myself and see if she wants to join on this orc slaying adventure." Scoggin begins packing up the ink bottle and skulls into her bag.
All right. Meanwhile, let's see. Yeah, let's go to Sid. Korinne, your character is in her usual place for, waiting for business contracts.
A hole in the ground.
Not far off, in fact. Underground, in the literal sense, is one of many dwellings in a network of tunnels beneath Freeport. There is a bar of sorts that Sid probably frequents and waits around for the contracts, like I've aforementioned.
A members only type joint, I'm assuming, for those in the know.
Yes, a members type
Quote,
only
unquote.
joints. In this seedy place that is lit by a few candles at best, Sid is sitting beside a man armored in light equipment that doesn't look out of place for streetwear. Despite the fact that they're underground, he has his hood raised over his head, and he's slightly nursing a clay cup between his hands, with only like a thimbleful of fiery tasting liquid left within it. The man beside you is Melchior. Melchior? Yeah, Melchior is the pronunciation I prefer. This is your middleman, the person that hands out your contracts or gives you the payment for any work you do. He sat in silence for a bit before addressing a topic in a tone of somewhat reluctant chastisement. I've told you a week ago, Sid, that the bosses are a little disappointment with what happened last week. They don't hold it against you, of course. Who would knew that, one of their future clients would be on that job that you just so happen to run into. You're doing a favor for a friend, I understand. He looks aside to Sid, hoping to see some understanding face, but presumably he gets just kind of a cold expression.
So wait, what did we do? So with the dark elves or whatever is their potential client?
That would be the implication. Now, the whole deal's not blown off. In fact, you might have. Well, if you weren't involved, it might have pushed us into a position where they'd be more desperate for our attention. But yes, the mention of the dwarf with them is a little hard to miss. Those adventurer types. Like I said, the boss isn't going to hold it against you. You couldn't have known. We've expressed as much to our client, and they, in their current states, are willing to be understanding to the extent that they're able. He pauses for a moment, of course, probably remembering whatever fiery talks occurred. We, of course, aren't going to place the bounty that they decided upon on your head, or on your hands, and definitely not on your head. I assure you, I've spoken against that many times, but you're a great worker, I said. But you could do a couple things for us to get in the good graces outside the normal jobs. I even advised the boss. Whole Sid can prove that they're a real person of business and that they understand that making amends is what we do. You get me, right?
Just sigh loudly and say, "What do you want me to do?"
See, I knew you would understand. Now, this might sound a bit dirty for the usual fare that you come across. There's a person of great annoyance in Freeport. They're a lousy entertainer. How to broach this to you? They're someone of your kind, but they are a thorn in the side of all the wrong people. They are contracted to the League of Ardenian Bards. This person is named Braga. He's funny enough, though you dwarves might make for good poets or something like that, he's a dwarf singer of sorts. And you cannot believe the things that he's been singing about our neighbors, especially Court Knox. And we have some relations that make trade with them, and the relationship of Freeport with Court Knox highly necessary, and, well, he has just been pissing them off by telling all sorts of terrible lies about them. Cut a long story short, we need this Braga man gone. We're not asking for you to kill him. In fact, it's quite opportune. I've heard from up the streets that he's due to be promoted within the League of Ardenian Bards, and he just so happens to need to go on an adventure of sorts to find out what it's like in the larger world instead of making up stories or simply telling them to any tavern in town. In fact, we had to run a bidding war to see who would actually be paying for this client's head, because we do want a head for this one. And it seemed that Court Knox actually won that bidding war. They were willing to pay a nice sum of money for this dwarf's head. But yes, you don't need to be the one to kill him. You don't need to make a message of any sort. A simple accident on the road would suffice. Oh yes, where was I? Yes, he needs to go on an adventure, and it just so happened that the people they work with last are the type of people that he'd ask to be to be escorted by. Now, the payment is more negotiable. To restore reputation with the guild master has been saying 600 gold for this dwarf's head is simply enough, but if you have any problems with that, feel free to tell me. I could probably talk the boss into giving you a good 1,000 gold for your cut if you take the dwarf out into the desert and suddenly lose the body.
So let me get this straight. You hired me for tunneling in to find you some caves. I tell you I found one, bring it to you, only for you to not tell me that you were in league with a bunch of fucking knife ears who were in that cave, blame me for your lack of intel, and then now you want me, a dwarf, on the orders of some human to go kill some other dwarf. Oh, excuse me, take him on a field trip.
Al, I thought you'd be angry about that point. Well, we didn't know about the Dark Elves before we let you roam free and take up contracts on your good friend of yours. We're not blaming you for that. We are not blaming you for that. But those knife ears that you talk about are a little bit more upset than the boss. And clients being upset causes problems for business. You, of course, understand that. Now, it's just a small request that we're willing to pay for. That just shows that you're more interested in doing business than this whole race harmony kind of talk. Though your hatred of elves is clearly understandable, we have to take on those clients at some point in time because even the elves have money. And more importantly, even the elves have things that we cannot easily get in this day and age. You told us about the cave, yes, but it is kind of a problem when there's been a demon summoning ritual within it. We're not blaming you. But the elves have clearly shown that they're capable of, hiding some assets from you. So please, for the sake of the hand, for the sake of the boss, for the sake of me, could you please take on this request?
Is he at least a terrible bard?
He is horrendous. We have complaints from everywhere around him. Not just the foreigners that hear their good nations being besmirched, but even some local tavern keeps only keep him there because the Ardenian bards insist that he must be there. They feel like he's an avant-garde revolutionary in his field, and we just want him out.
I suppose I should do his family a favor and deal with this smirch on their honor.
See, honor. Why did I not think about that? Honor. Yes. Like I said...
Somewhat sarcastically. Who wants their son to grow up to be a bard? That's not some kind of poofter crap.
And especially a dwarf. Like, a bard's saying, to be honest, making money out of that. How's that? How's that any way for a dwarf to live? Caves and mines is what I'm saying. Yes. At your assurances that you'll take the job on, I understand you're 800 gold. Is that sufficient?
You are asking me to commit fratricide. I couldn't think of doing it for less than 1,000.
You drive up a real hard bargain, Sid. I'll take you up on that, and I'll tell the boss that you really twisted my arm. Really twisted it hard. Yes, but run along now, and sorry, I'm not giving you orders. Do, at your convenience, tell those adventurers whatever you think they need to hear to, be conveniently in the place of this dwarf to hear his request, and dispose of him by any means you desire. I'm certain there's any kind of adventuring work that your people might find that would put a annoyance in harm's way.
Your people. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
I hope you would.
Where can I find him?
Well, he could be quite anywhere right now. So I do believe one of his favorite spots is the Oasis. Well, I don't know if you're the kind of person that visit that establishment. It's for what would you call that profession of women that entice men out of their money? Not marriage, the other one.
Seamstresses?
Close. Very close. Dancers. Let's just say they're dancers. They dance, and this man, this Braga, he does enjoy them. And it would be in West Freeport. Since I know you don't visit such establishments so far from the waterfront.
Alright. You don't have anything good to drink here anyway.
Oh, come now. The whiskey's the best.
Of course you would say that.
Oh, what? Be fair here. I can't say a generalized your people or your kind when obviously referring to adventurers, but I would say that. I have a feeling that we don't have any respect between us, and I've always
whatever
enjoyed
gave you that idea?
I've always enjoyed our talks.
I would hate to be anything but professional.
I know you'd be professional. Yes, please, at your earliest convenience, go do that. I'll run along and tell the boss right now. He says he gets out of his chair and he downs whatever was in his cup. I'll go tell the boss, and everything will be fine once the job is complete. We won't, unless you're really tight for cash, we won't throw one of these on you ever again. Is that all right?
I'll get right on it, boss.
See, you're well understanding this. All right, you took it a lot better than I thought you would. Yes, have a good day. He says before swiftly exiting out the back into a more cavernous area than this this dimly lit, boarded up tavern setting would lead you to believe allows for.
I suppose I'll go try to find what I assume is one of only a handful of dwarves in town.
Well, he's the only dwarven bard.
The dwarven bard,
Yep.
with disdain, spitting.
All right.
Well, I guess I'll get right on that.
Yep. Changing perspectives at a breakneck pace. Bellatrix or Varian, do either of your characters partake in the Adventurers Guild?
My character is a contact for the Adventurers Guild, and they just contact him when a party needs healers. He typically spends his time in the temple doing priestly things.
Temple to which god? I don't know if we went over that.
We did not.
We'll have to
Whatever
go into
worships
that later.
blood.
All right, so
The mighty
Erazem,
Jeff.
what is your character up to?
I forget which deity it was, but you had the elemental quartet. There's an air temple. One of the Winds for Errant has a temple, and Bellatrix would be there.
It'd be Serenestra.
Serenestra. Yes.
Yeah. Would
Which
be there
would be
before.
Which
Yeah.
would be a temple that, not too far away with, would be the Order of Monks, the Serene Order that is nearby that keep the temple.
Oh, so it's near. Okay, oh, she would.
But not near
use
the
it to
not near the
scout as
Adventurers
well.
Guild.
Yeah, she would use it to both pay respect to the gods and point her eyes at the building nearby to see if there's anything suspicious going on.
In the monks area?
In the Serene Order, yeah. Here.
There wouldn't. They're mainly training, meditating, or anything like that. 1 second. Have to open up YouTube for a reason. Okay, but your character is in the Serene Order, well, near the Serene Order, near the Temple of Peace. The monks have actually been keeping, defending, and cleaning that place to your character's knowledge. And they haven't done anything of great suspicion that you have seen.
Bellatrix would abandon her research for the time being if she doesn't find anything suspicious and just head to the Adventurers Guild to
Perfect.
get some more cash.
Alright, so at the Adventurers Guild, you find an elf and a clueless-looking tan-skinned man-woman with full plate armor, kind of falling behind the elf, looking clueless. From there, Duck and Lalatina chase. You're looking for people to partake on your adventure. correct?
Yes. I guess Skagen will. Is there some sort of
Descriptor for
receptionist or some sort of coordinator to talk to for finding party members' perspectives?
not for specifically finding party members, but there would be a receptionist for the guild that could probably say where they've seen someone last.
Okay. So Skagen will approach the receptionist and ask if about the whereabouts of Sid.
All right, the lady that you approach at the reception desk tilts her head to the side and asks, Sid? You'd have to be a bit more specific. Who is this, Sid?
Dwarf, Skagen says, about yay high, and, holds her hand at dwarf height, and wears heavy armor, possibly female, has
Oh, you mean Sigurd's daughter?
control. I don't
She-
languages, but,
She says at the mention of possibly female dwarf. Yes, we haven't had any requests go through to Sid that you say in quite some time. Have you checked at the Salty Dog? I've heard that they frequent there.
we just came from the Salty Dog.
Now, where else would Sid be? She questions. Meanwhile, Sid...
Probably in the street loudly looking for the dwarf bard.
You're just looking for the dwarf bard out in the streets. You going out to West Freeport, or...
Not loudly, well, not that obnoxiously. I'd probably be heading over towards where the whores are that he frequents and asking if anybody's seen the dwarf bard.
Okay.
Probably whilst shopping, quote unquote, at any street vendors to pretend like I actually give a fuck about what they're doing.
No fucks given. Alright, and Bright, you here?
Yes, I'm here.
And no, the girl's not Guild Marm.
What do you mean? There she is.
But it fits. Come on, man. Do it.
Because they're not gonna let you get horny.
Oh no.
We are already that with the fucking bikini I have.
Well, I didn't let you do
Believe
that.
it,
You
you're
did
late.
that yourself. Let's see.
That's all I'm saying. A little bit of magical realm is allowed, alright?
Introducing characters I've known for the span of one day is varying the type of character that would be in a gentleman's establishment.
No.
Or
but
is that
he would be
entirely
in a
within
bar.
Francis?
That is, Francis is the horny one, right?
It's so hard to rope
Fortunately
in
for-
where this
fortunately
character
for
is.
everyone, he is not here.
Yeah, he's in a temple just waiting for someone to send him a call. Okay. Alright, after a moment in the Adventurers Guild, let's see. What should I toss out? While you're in the Adventurers Guild, you hear people chatting and gossiping. As the minutes go by, they talk about how there's a possible conflict coming soon. There's like some fancy Imperial guy coming from the Astra Imperium, and he's brought a whole bunch of soldiers into town, and that they're quartered somewhere in North Freeport, and they're looking for something. There's also talk about some wand that staggered a collector of some kind that a priest showed, along with a bunch of other items that he had to get identified within town. And of course, there's also talk about an annoying bard that they heard playing at one of their favorite establishments the other day. After a moment, after a few moments longer, what comes next into the Adventurers Guild is a human man with a shiny silver breastplate and a missing eye. He looks around and then walks towards the board with where all the bounties and requests are posted upon it. He rests a hand on the pommel of his sword, and after gazing upon the wall for a moment, he comes to the receptionist that had finished answering Scoggins' question not minutes ago. He asks, playing out loud, have there been people that have taken that request for the militia of Freeport? The guild secretary, of course, says, that is slightly confidential, but yes, there have been people that have taken that request to hunt down the Ironhide orcs. The man looks somewhat distressed. Can you point them out to me? I must give them a warning about what they're getting into.
Are Scoggin and Abdullah still standing next
Oh,
to
they're within earshot. Yeah.
Scoggin says, as it happens, we are the ones.
The man turns his head. He swiftly raises an eyebrow before suppressing whatever emotion caused him to query the presence of a high elf here. He says, you are the people that have been taken on to enjoy that unfortunate task. Is this true?
Yes.
I must warn you about the Ironhide orcs. They're not particularly dangerous, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I am Sir John. Mind if we sit down and talk about this for a moment?
That would be acceptable. And I guess there are tables around.
Yes, there's tables. It's mostly a common / waiting room area here in the guild.
All right.
He escorts both of Scoggin and Lalatina over to a wooden table near the middle of the establishment, and he takes a seat, laying the sword by his side. Yes, there's been a problem with corruption in the ranks of the Freeport militia for quite a long time, and their outlook for the people is rather misplaced. The Ironhide orcs are not a threat that you might, or they might, believe them to be. If these orcs are making weapons on their own, this is a sign of civilization that must flourish within the orcs. If they can build for themselves, if they can actually create, then there might be a way for orcs to simply know peace with greater society as a whole. I'm not telling you to not take this job, to deny the wealth that adventurers possibly depend on for these things. I'm asking you to change your targets in a way that might still earn you your pay. The Ironhide Orcs are not the only orcish clan out in the ocean of Marr. There are a clan known as the Deathheads, a cruel and vicious raiding tribe that pilfers any graves or pillages any settlement that tries to occur in the deep desert. These orcs have shamans that raise the dead and so forth, and the Knights of Justice, on behalf of the courts of Korra, are more than willing to pay you for any delivery of staves these shamans might have. While we don't have the near, we are willing to pay 50 gold per shaman staff. And it turns out these Deathhead Orcs, they also have these characteristic clan belts. And from what we know of the Freeport Militia, they are not likely to look too closely at the belts. And you could turn these into their guard captain, and he will pay you your bounty for killing the Ironhides. But I just plead with you, please, do not kill off these Ironhides. They are the best hopes that we might have for a more orderly region out here.
Goggin just looks utterly perplexed at this man's Jim-foolery. Wouldn't the best hope simply be to exterminate all of these sub-creatures?
Exterminating them all is not within our resources nor yours.
Well, not with an attitude like that. One must start somewhere, mustn't one?
And besides, it is not the teachings of a community to reject out of hand anyone that might be able to change for the better. These Ironhide Orcs have not done any too heinous of a crime, and their sentences might be commuted for proper service to a greater cause. If you can simply do the job you were doing elsewhere, you'll be paid handsomely by not just the Freeport Militia, but by ours. And if you're so against leaving Orc to live, we won't press upon you another job that we might request you to undertake. Though we do have designs for sending missives to this Ironhide Orc clan leader.
Well, if you're willing to pay for me to deliver a message to the leader of these Ironhide Orcs, I suppose I can try, but it's with these orcs, I mean, really, it's difficult to tell them apart. They all look the same to me. But if you want staves off of these orcs, I can bring you a mighty faggot of their staves. and I'll deliver the belts to the militia.
We would be most appreciative, and we are willing to pay in advance for the promise that you'll deliver this. Half, I believe, is appropriate for such a task. He fumbles around at his belt for a moment, and then he pulls out a pouch of coins. He lays it on the table and opens the drawstrings of the pouch. He says, "Within here I have the contents of, 50 platinum coins for delivery of a missive." And then he pulls from the back of his belt a scroll that can fit within the contents of a hand, and he lays it on the table. And here is the message.
Am I allowed to read this, or is this only for the eyes of the orc leader?
I'd say yes, but I didn't write a message, so it's not going to be.
All right. She'll
It's
take
an orc.
it
They
and,
can't read anyway.
What's that?
Orcs can't read anyway.
Yeah.
That should have been your first objection.
Well, she assumed she would have to read it to the orc, I suppose. But, so she says, "Very well, I will make a good faith attempt to deliver this to the heathen, for what good it may do." So you're willing to pay then 25 platinum now and 25 upon delivery of this?
No, the 50 platinum now and 50 after.
Ah, fantastic.
And I trust that someone of your skills in sneaking about might be useful in finding this in the orc clan leader's hands.
Yes, I think for that amount of platinum, I can make it a priority to ensure that this makes its way to the intended recipient.
He nods his head, and then he glances at the your erstwhile companion and says, "Sir Abdullah, you were a disgrace to our order. I do hope that you do not fuck this up." He says before then bowing his head to Scoggin and getting up from the table. You're welcome. All right. So elsewhere in the in Freeport, we have a meeting of the dwarves. Sid has been wandering around for some time when Sid finally approaches the oasis of Marr. You see a dwarf leave the establishment, waving fervently to some giggling females within this establishment. The dwarf is gayishly dressed with feathered cap and violet dyed apparel, with a lute strung and slung over his shoulder. You can probably tell on sight that this is the person you're wanting to find. Well, with enough racism.
Indeed. So, yeah, Sid would just approach and say something in Dwarvish, of course, of something to the effect of, "Hey, Liberace, come over here." Are you the bard? As if there could be any other.
The dwarf snaps his head to Sid, and then he shifts his body, shoulders square to Sid, and lays his hand upon his chest and bows. The bard, I am the Great Braga. Have you sought out one of my well-written sonnets?
No, but truly, your fame is so great that even back home we have heard it far away underground. I came to tell you a story that you might incorporate into one of your annals and ballads about the fight against the great black knife-eared enemy.
Ah, so even the Stooges in the Grey Mountains have heard of me. And what is this tale of the knife-eared enemy? I must hear it more.
I would be happy to tell you, but I alone cannot do it justice. For truly it is such a great story that even another knife-eater was willing to kill their fellow countrymen. They're still in town, I believe. If you would like to go with me, we can go talk to them and we can regale the entire story, including one involving a man who was quite the partying drunkard who died and then wasn't dead anymore after talking to some priests.
Do you want to roll diplomacy to see how well Sid can ham it up, or is Sid not really even trying?
I'm not trying that hard. I mean, it's assuming he's a bard. How much does it really take to, butter him up and appeal to his ego?
Well, phrasing is everything. Okay, so well enough. He says, please do show me to your companions. This might be worth my promotion in the Ardenian Bards. I might even play at the amphitheater within a week. He says before following Sid along. Alright, now snapping back to the Adventurers Guild. Erazem, your character comes in. They're looking around, looking for work.
You said that I entered before.
Yes, I did, but it went completely forgotten.
Yeah, could I have overheard any of their conversation?
Perception. Yes, you've definitely heard near about everything that's been discussed. They didn't really make a show to keep much secret. Speaking to the quality of the adventurers.
Yeah, would you consider it a good deal to join in on that money? Because it seems like an easy enough task.
Yeah, it's essentially 1,000 gold, split however many ways, to deliver a letter. It doesn't sound like a difficult job, and it pays far too well. And normally the adventuring jobs listed on the board are message delivery anyway, and for far less, barely covering the cost of travel both ways and the totally required quantity of booze that adventurers consume on a near daily basis.
Okay, so Bellatrix approaches the elf and the paladin and introduces herself as someone who can help them. Coming up, she what would she say exactly? I heard you need to deliver a message and not spill too much blood in the process. I'm quite adept at that. I might be of use to you.
And what is it exactly that you can do?
I have been blessed by the goddess to command the winds. And are there any open flames like in the vicinity?
There might be a couple.
Should just point at one of them like as a swooshing motion and extinguish it.
Just extinguishes the lantern somewhere, keeping the place well lit.
Oh, they can relight it, no problem.
See, I can put out the lantern.
Truly unmatched power.
There is more to this, of course, but I'm not in the mood to demonstrate it here, and it's probably illegal.
And what are your feelings about orcs? Because while we were asked to deliver a message to the leader of these orcs, it might not be as bloodless as you were led to believe.
Well, like I said, I'm adept at making things go through less bloody, but if need be, I can smash skulls in, do not worry. I would prefer we don't really go in with the intent to kill. Not quite comfortable with that, but I mean, if they attack us, I'm perfectly capable of defending myself. And you as well, of course.
Well, we probably could use some sort of magic user on our assignment. The last magic user that we quested with is involved in other things at the moment, so we do need someone of magical talents to accompany us. Do you perchance know any healing magic?
No. Do you not have this man here? He seems like he might be able to do something. You, sir. You look like a paladin. Can you not heal? And I see Chase is not here.
See, you refer to her as Sir. She's clearly Latina.
Yeah. Just call the character Lalatina and he'll respond every time. Okay. Meanwhile, since there's a lull, the door to the Adventurers Guild opens up. There's a pair of dwarves that enter the common room. One of which clad in complete full plate armor, and the other looks a bit queer. Dressed in fine velvety jacket and a felt hat with a feather in it. He looks around in awe and amusement, while the other dwarf, Sid, probably is looking completely annoyed.
Perpetually looks annoyed.
He wonders aloud, now where are these adventurer friends of yours that you speak of? And this man that returned from the dead, where did he come and go?
As to the latter, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure that the elf, since she's probably the only elf in town, I'm assuming, that she would know. That's their thing.
Oh, how enjoyable. He says, looking about the room here in Adventurers Guild, and he points out the first elf he sees sitting at that table in the center. Is that the elf you speak of?
I don't know, is it?
It might be Skagen, yes.
Roll perception for elf.
Yeah. Yes, roll perception, because all elves look alike. Even the half variety. Well, even if you couldn't tell Skagen apart from all the rest of the knife ears, there was Abdullah nearby, who is tongue-tied right now. So
I must introduce you to the brave paladin as well. I'm sure that he would love to speak with you at length. Have you cleaned your toes lately?
What is this about my toes that you bring up all of a sudden?
Oh, you'll see.
Uh-huh. Alright, and guessing you walk up to the table?
Yes. Now, I will make a very flamboyant, suspiciously flamboyant introduction of greetings, friend. Greetings, kind friend Abdullah. Greetings, great leader Skagen. I am here to introduce to you the most wonderful dwarf, a bard in all dwarfendom. He has come to hear of our adventures.
Ah, Sid. We were, Abdullah and I were actually trying to find you.
How most fortuitous! Surely this is a great portent of a wonderful quest to come.
Skagen raises an eyebrow at Sid's odd behavior, but says yes. Well, as it happens, the militia is going to pay us a bounty to go into the wilderness and slay orcs, which is always good sport. And the Knights of Justice are going to pay us a handsome fee to deliver a message to the leader of one of the orc tribes that is apparently possibly showing signs of civilization, if you can believe such nonsense. Personally, I don't, but as long as their platinum is good, then who am I to argue?
My lord, Braga, but this sounds like a great epic indeed.
Ah,
You
and
have
this is
star-crossed lovers of civilization and adventure and daring and...
well,
Orc.
as you described. This is the elven head taker you've spoken of. Yes.
Oh yes, I'm sure that she can regale you with many wonderful deeds. Dear Skagen, this great bard can immortalize you in the halls of history. You will be forever spoken of among the great poets as the great slayer of, as you called them, the nigger elf.
Is it true that you've wept for your companion that fell in that labyrinthine cave, and wept in joy when they risen again?
I think wept is a strong word.
Francis is just out there somewhere knowing.
His ears are
Just
itching.
knows.
Abdullah, I'm sure will be
In a
happy to tell you about it.
In a drug-induced coma somewhere, just he hears it.
He wasn't probably a minute away from that dwarf when Sid met Braga.
I think
The other room, actually.
Kola was the most affected by it.
Possibly. I think you mean Lalatina was most affected by it.
Ah, yes. Well, I can't keep track of these heathen names.
And you, he looks this new human woman Erazem has. Who are you in this story? You are the man that raised bodies from the dead to throw at the enemy, are you not?
She just looks at him weird for implying manliness.
Well, your chest is kind of flat, so I mean, whatever.
You know what? Fuck it. I have this thing. I can not do damage with my blast, but still have secondary effect.
Okay.
Oh fuck! He doesn't fall down.
Yeah, especially not a dwarf. So you blow some wind at him, and he looks kind of questioningly at you. Is this one of your magic spells?
Yes.
Oh, what did that spell do? This is fantastic.
I mean, it was intended to teach you a lesson, but I don't seem to be in the mood for it today.
Ah, so you're
Something
attempting
wrong.
to share knowledge with my great mind. Oh, that would have been a wonderful experience to have indeed. I'm fortunate that the spell didn't work out. So it must be my superb brilliance that kept my mind steeled to your invasions. My sincere apologies.
A stern look, and then silence.
Yeah, so what did you call this human here, Sid?
Which one, Abdullah?
No, this one that blew wind in my face.
This one is a new one to me. For truly the wonders of the world and the adventurers are just so great and mysterious, even I have not plumbed them.
Ah, so this is not the one you spoke of in your tales. Not even the drunkard, yes?
No, this is not the drunkard. The elf was with us, and the great Sir Abdullah was with us, who I'm sure will happy to talk to you. But the others I do not see here.
Oh, what a shame. I was looking forward to meeting the man that could burn the eyes out of 100 ogres within a room that you've told me about. The what was it? The living torch, Clovis?
Wasn't Abdullah would be the living torch, wouldn't he?
No, Clovis was the one that shone light everywhere.
Or-
Is that how? Is that how Sid would describe Abdullah then?
Well, since
Abdullah,
Clovis
well
isn't here,
known
sure,
for
why
his-
not?
Abdullah, well known for his brightness.
Abdullah is well known for his kindness. Thank you very much.
Oh yes, welcome back, Latina.
Fuck you.
He's well known for his ability to hate.
All right, and he says, "Oh yes, you are the great toe collector, are you not?"
Yes.
Is it true that you've, with one hand, completely disarmed and de-armored a crazed, knife-eared demoness?
Yes. With my sword hand.
Completely leaving out the fact that the spider did most of the work.
Sid's retellings. Well, Sid's completely exaggerated retellings just to get this guy to follow along.
Yeah, I'm hyping him up so that he'll be in love with you. You'll never be able to get rid of him until the day he dies.
Maybe tomorrow.
Well, that's the plan.
Hell, tonight if you want to be more efficient. Yes. So I was indeed wondering, adventures of your great repute and success. I might offer you upon my, offer upon you my company to enjoin your adventures and provide you much a tale of my own of morale-inducing effects. For I am Braga, the Bard. You may clap now.
Sid will clap adoringly. And give a look to Scoggin like, clap, you fucking cunt.
Scoggin again raises an eyebrow and says, "Are you a follower of the great Jeb, that you solicit prayer?"
I know not of this Jeb, but I have a great many muses, and he may be one of mine. My star is rising, and with my presence, so too shall your own. You shall be drifted from obscurity into the great cultural exchange known as the Bardic Arts.
Interesting that a heathen would know of Jeb and claim inspiration from the Lord of all.
Oh, praise be to him that bring the guac. Yes, so what is this great new quest that you're undergoing? Unfortunately, not that guac, Bright.
Yes, well, as I said, we've been we've been hired to go into the wilderness for a bit of sport. We're being paid a bounty to slay orcs and collect trinkets off of them as proof. and also to deliver a missive to the leader of one of the orc tribes. Of course, Lalatina and I first thought of you, Sid, to...
Stream. Nope. Reconnection successful. Alright, since Braga made no promise of being useful in any way to your adventure, you'll have to find that fifth party member. And of course, that fifth party member is waiting to be found and not seeking out employment, of course. So, a setting request would be to contact the guild employees and see if there's someone that's waiting in the wings that is of repute to join you on whatever job.
If
Lest, of course, that you venture to any of the 100 or so shrines or temples within Freeport and just pick out an apprentice priest and say, "You're going on an adventure, bub."
So yes, if Sid and Bellatrix are agreeable, then Skagen gets up and goes back over to the receptionist at the Adventurers Guild Hall and inquires about if there are any healers at present who have requested work.
She says, we have quite an abundance of copper plates at this time. I assume, of course, you wish for someone of more skillful nature, correct? I do believe we have a couple iron plates in the region. We can send out some people to send messages to them, and whoever answers first can be interviewed by you to see if they're
That
acceptable.
would be agreeable.
Very well. We do have, of course, a small fee for this service. 2 silver?
Very well.
Thank you for your business. She bows her head deeply and takes the silver coins and says, we'll pass on a message. It is an actual service, right? We'll pass on a message to these people. Alright, and whatever temple we'll figure out at some later point, what is your character's name, Bright? That's,
Variant.
Varian, yes. The one doesn't have a two-handed sword that splits into 2 smaller swords. Varian receives, a calling, someone requesting his name while knocking upon the door to the shrine that he is currently, taking up habitation within.
He opens the door. He smiles. What can the Temple of Jeb do for you today?
God damn, it's not Jeb. Yes, we have a standing request for a healer to accompany a group of adventurers as they go to kill orcs. It's an exclusive bounty at the current moment, and they're the only ones that are allowed to partake of it.
Ooh, exclusive bounty. You should have said so sooner. Come, show me where they are.
I said so at my earliest ability. Thank you, sir. The guild servant just bows her head and leads you along back to the paths of the normal places in Freeport. Because the shrine to a blood god somewhere in the middle of the city is probably like the least trafficked place in town, even by the human traffickers. That must exist.
What? Come on. Someone has to bring in all the blood.
Well, that's clearly an underground business. Anyway, tens of minutes later, the party is probably getting fed up of Braga's questions about particulars of the story that Sid let slip in an exaggerated way to entice the man to come with. A guild servant escorting a gentleman matching the description of his character icon, I assume. A half-elf human person.
Yes.
Wearing a... what is that? Dark blue jacket?
Breastplate.
Oh, he's wearing a breastplate. Okay.
He's wearing a breastplate below the robes.
Okay, so he's wearing very baggy robes then. Got it.
Yes.
A white-haired
So,
half-elf enters the room. And the servant approaches the counter, and the secretary behind the counter waves over Skagen. Miss Skagen, we found your iron plate healer. May I introduce you, Varian Astera?
It's a pleasure to meet you. I wasn't expecting another elf in the city.
Skagen eyes him over and says, well, as my progressive sister says, half an elf is better than not an elf.
I'm just going to overlook the slight. You said you had work for me?
Yes, we are in need. My companions and I are in need of a healer. We've been tasked with going into the wilderness and collecting a bounty on orcs that we slay out there for the militia. We also have a secondary assignment to deliver a missive to the leader of one of these orc tribes for the Knights of Justice.
Same tribe?
I'm sorry?
I asked if it was the same tribe you were trying to kill.
Yes, but, well, there's no reason we can't deliver the message and kill them, as far as I see.
Just losing out on half of money right there.
I never knew the Knights of Justice to send death threats, but I suppose times change.
Well, they seem to have delusions that this one tribe of orcs is somehow on the cusp of becoming civilized. Ridiculous notion, I know. But they're willing to pay quite well for us to deliver this message to the leader. So, and also to pay a bounty for staves that we collect off of one of the other more the shamans of one of the other more barbarous orc tribes. But really, who needs an excuse when it's killing orcs? The money is just a bonus, as I see it.
I suppose the message is a true test of civility. If they can read it, they might be reasonable.
Yeah, you're progressive too, I see.
Are all orcs evil?
Yes, Lalatina, I've tried to explain that to you before. Don't you remember me showing you the skulls?
Hmm.
You have skulls.
Oh, yes, phrenology is a hobby of mine. I've collected quite a few skulls off of, and she uses an elvish word, essentially, meaning nigger elves. Of
Elves of Color. We're on YouTube.
so she's collected quite several of those that she can offer to. Would you like to see them? Made a habit of marking the regions of their skulls and their brain pans to show where the defective mutations have occurred.
Phrenology is such an interesting art. A few of the people in my temple practice it, though I've never had the knack for it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, is there anything we're waiting for, or should we set off?
Oh, I was figuring on setting out in the morning if you wish to get your affairs in order, get any supplies you need, and meet us at the north gates of the city, shall we say, 2 hours after sunrise.
I suppose that works.
And get a good night's sleep.
Should we just do the time skip now? Unless someone else has things to do.
Certainly. Any other in-character things that need to be done? Anyone need to go get certain equipment?
How would any of our characters know? Well, we would obviously know where we're going. How far is it?
Well, that's another a quite clever thing. You don't actually know where you're going. You just know that the orcs are somewhere out in the desert.
Well, that complicates things.
Yes, they do.
We'll just have to buy a lot of food then. Because the desert
Food,
is a
possibly.
How much for a camel?
Chase, that's where you come in with the soundboard for a camel.
I thought that's where he came in with the pricing of real world camels.
No, I was talking about the song, but anyway. Let's see, where is
Skagen will ask the receptionist at the guild desk if there have been any reports recently from adventurers on encounters with orcs and where they might be.
She would say that. Ooh, camels could be 150 gold. Well, that's for purchase. Probably rent is slower. Anyway, she would say that there have been reports of orc attacks all along the route to Diarnes. Though be careful about approaching the western half of that route, since close to Diarnes is the region of the sand giants. And to describe it best, let me see. Going to use this handy dandy map and say this is the region that they claim is mostly within the domain of sand giants.
Okay.
write something. Where is it? I thought they had a write text thing. Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Perhaps for maybe the rest of the afternoon, Skagen will kind of ask around town to see if she can get any more information about anybody that might have been attacked recently by orcs and where it was.
Certainly. You want to do a couple of diplomacy rolls to see what information people would give you for free, and maybe a knowledge local roll. Yeah, your character is completely ignorant to the habits of orcs. You survive off of racism alone to know what an orc does.
The acts of these civilized quote unquote orcs are completely confusing to her with her predisposed knowledge to the actions of orcs.
Yeah, she is well studied on the OQ. I'll not elaborate on that.
No, I'm not much better.
Knowledge and suggestions on others that you talk to within the Adventurers Guild lead you to a conclusion that if it... Goddamn, all you people just know nothing of orcs. Oh, except for Bellatrix. Bellatrix knows a thing or two about orcs. Bellatrix would know that orcs are mostly wandering people. But, on occasion, when they do group up together, chieftains seem to start taking in the knowledge of the peoples around them and start settling down on land, claiming it as theirs, but otherwise engage in warlike behavior with their neighbors. Wherever any clan or tribe of orc will be, there's normally there's either a roaming band of killings going on, or there's a settled tribe out there where they roam out and fetch merchants for food and resources. And your knowledge and some tips that Skagen got from the locals would suggest that once more, seeking out people locals to the desert would generally find the whereabouts of orcs very quickly. Because dervishes, while they are bandits in themselves, find it hard to compete with the sheer brutality of orcs, as well as the single-mindedness to whatever task they have. Though Adon is not with the group, he is known to be one of those that cavort with the dervishes, and you have talked to them at the beginning of your last adventure to find out about the ogres that killed the militia of Freeport. It is possibly easier to find the dervishes because you simply need to wander around the tracks until you find the horse trails in the dunes. Though you can do the same for the orcs, but you might possibly have to wander out much farther to find orcs due to apparently a lot of people being pushed up north or to the east due to the events of your last adventure.
Okay. Well, in that case, having gotten that information, unless there's stuff other people need to do or want to do, then I'm good with skipping ahead to the morning when we're agreed to meet up and set out.
How much does a ration cost? I'm just gonna pick up a few.
Depends on the ration.
Trail
Just the
rations is
regular-
five silver pieces.
And camels to purchase are 150 gold, but I assume if you return them in good condition, you can probably get that 150 gold back.
Slightly used camels.
Yeah, it's not the price for a new riding camel.
Is this like a
Look,
lease?
you gotta ride the camel in.
Yeah, it's like a lease. Though the
Unfortunately, I
guild
can't
probably
afford
can,
a camel.
the guild can probably connect you to a 10% discount for the low price of 135 gold. This camel can be yours.
Is there a lizard selling me camel insurance?
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna go with the joke.
Look, you don't want to get in a rear-end collision with your camel and be the one liable. So,
Well, you haven't met Chase's family. Oh, sorry, goats. That's the one.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Chase.
Welcome back. We were talking shit about you.
What?
Look.
What were you talking about exactly?
All right. While we're talking shit, since it'll be in the next part of the adventure, I want to take a 5-minute break for everyone to use the restroom or
yeah, that sounds
go
good.
grab something. Okay.
Sure. I'll go grab some water.
Go into the standby
grab
screen.
something
We'll be
as well.
back in 5 minutes, YouTube. All one of you watching. All right. On the next morning, after everyone in the party procures their rations, gets whatever transportation they need, they meet up outside the west gate of Freeport. The banners of that golden castle sitting upon a lone hill, inspiring confidence to all the people behind the firm sandstone walls of the safety of the city. While your party treads on ahead out into the dangerous wilderness and seeking of dervishes or any bandits, really, just to get a whiff of the location of orcs. Alright, let's do the usual thing of last time. So now, party lead or whoever wants to be in charge of the survival checks. You guys just following the road for now until you get into the deeper desert?
Yeah, until we see some signs of something else to follow. I guess just follow the road to DRNS for now.
Alright. Well, that may be too much of a distance. Let me change that distance real quick. 15 sounds about right. Alright. So you head out to a region known as the Common Lands, because it's an area that is commonly traversed between all three of the nearby neighbors of Freeport. Its roads part from north to south for venturing between DRNS and, the Aster Imperium and the Dwarves of the Great Mountains. And, of course, the south is Court Knox. You travel along to the next crossroad between DRNS and the northeastern routes. And this is likely where your adventurers take a stop to rest for a bit.
All right. Who has a good survival skill?
I have a +10. Anyone better?
That's basically
got a
my
six.
job. I'm the ranger.
What's your survival?
I think it's like 12, right?
Damn.
My survival is 15.
Oh, it's 15. There we go.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
Okay.
My survival is 2. Well, -2.
Sounds about right.
Chase is extremely bad at surviving.
Okay, there's your first.
Since we're
night
talking
here.
about survival, would it be possible to just roll survival to have, Dippy do somehow like trip and fall and break his neck? Just have it be done quick.
Well, you're just going to
Taking down the wrong
nonchalantly push him off a camel's back into the sand?
No. We're just gonna find a very narrow trail along an escarpment, the side of a cliff or something. That I know that the fourth camel that goes over it will, fall off, and so I'll have him be the fourth camel that goes over.
Unfortunately, you don't. There are not many cliffs in this region.
Okay, quicksand, something. Sarlacc pit.
Maybe a friendly spider or something.
Yeah. So far, you're keeping the bard entertained. No need to be so quick in action. Because he's willing to ride his own camel for now. It's when something happens to his camel, you can put more haste in your journey to rid another mouth feed.
Could we say he fell on my sword and I just stab him?
I think there might be people in Freeport that have a problem with that.
I don't think Korinne told anyone about her her desire to rid of the dwarf.
Yeah,
Shit.
for
Well,
now.
I don't have to because I mean he's just going to get himself killed anyway, and eventually I would think Skagen would ask because she's an elf.
What, ask to kill him or ask about
Why you
John?
brought this person? I'm assuming that if nothing else, he will piss off everyone so much by his very presence that they'll just agree to let him die, and they'll think it was their idea.
Now, am I entertained by the bard?
Define entertained.
Is his perform large enough for me to want to save him?
All right, this is going to be a D20 plus 1. If you didn't hate him before, you're indifferent to him now.
If I didn't have blood manipulation, my ears would be bleeding.
Wait. You can raise corpses, right?
No,
Oh,
that's that's the other guy we're traveling with. Yes.
Why is the only human in the only other human in the party confused about the identities of other humans? And wait, this is a half-elf. It's not even a
Yes.
human. You're confusing
It's just
Malin
a-
with a half-elf. See, right? That's
I mean,
that's how bad Malin is. He's easily confused with an elf.
you have to understand, Malin is just bad. It's
Yeah. All right, but whoever's leading the party's journey, I actually get a character token down there. There. Show which direction you'd want to go. Or do you want to just go out into the desert, or do you want to just keep following the path for another day?
I mean, I think if we haven't seen any tracks yet, then or any signs to indicate the desert dwellers or orcs, then we should continue heading along that
In
western road.
in that case, roll perception. It need to be high, and a survival check.
Can everyone roll the perception?
Sure.
I rolled a 2 on that perception, by the way.
I rolled a 0. What do I see?
How?
That's it. You see that your hand is still fondling the crimson silk that you've kept in your pouch.
How soft does it feel?
It's no longer warm. It is quite displeasing. Anyway,
I toss it to the fire.
okay. All right. So Skagen, what, to warn them? Oh, it's not warm. I must throw it the fire.
Yes. To get rid of it. I'm not gonna have some unwarm leather silk bikini on me.
What the?
Yes. Anyway.
I bet you could sell it to the bard.
Ooh, that's better. Can I sell it to the bard?
You already threw it in the fire.
But can I
That's
sell
a
the
shame.
foot to the bard?
Okay. You guys get on
You
to the
just
third.
ignored me.
Yes, I did. Your characters have gone a third of the way for the next day's travel along the route to Diarnes, and off to the side of the trail is Skagen sees some tracks. The tracks appear to be too numerous for a single animal, and the imprints are not too fine enough to be a roaming spider or some snake or some other barbaric creature that wanders through this region.
Skagen calls attention to the Sid and asks her, Sid, what do you make of these markings here? Could these be
Could be a hat, a brooch, a pterodactyl.
It's a survival roll of 19 is what they are.
Okay. You make of these tracks as they look to belong to a hooved creature, possibly a horse, and by your reckoning, they go somewhere in the northern direction.
Oh, I've seen these before. This is the tracks of one of those things. What are they called? They got 4 legs. They eat grass. What are they? No, not elves. Come on, let me think of it for a second. Yeah, horses. That's it. Looking at Skagen the whole time with a deadpan look. Like, you fucking idiot. You don't know what a horse track is?
Are you sure it's horses and not camels in the desert?
I mean, the description I just, made applies to camels equally as well.
And elves.
Yes, and elves.
Well, you see, I was confused because I thought they were possibly the tracks of your mother.
No self-respecting dwarf eats grass, asshole.
Why would their mother eat grass?
Because they're elves, that they're frou-frou. They spend all their time on all fours because they're always fucking, the beast with 2 backs. It was a very nice double entendre.
Love the the dwarves versus elves thing. Anyway, the tracks do go off in a northern direction, and with your survival roll, you can follow them safely enough. You probably aren't more than a day behind them if you can even see horse tracks off the trail.
Lead on, fearless leader. Our bard needs to have some beautiful adventures to record.
Well, wouldn't you be following the tracks and pointing them out?
You're the ranger. You're
Yes, but you're the fearless leader. I can make you follow the tracks, but you have to issue the order.
Skagen flourishes her hand in the direction that the tracks appear to lead and says, "Lead on, ranger."
Oh, yes, Amasa. I'll be right on that.
Oh, good. You're finally learning your place.
Why do you talk like a
Don't do it.
Oh, wait, this is YouTube. I can't speak that.
No, you cannot speak those words. Okay.
Looks like that compliance engine is finally doing its job.
I don't know, getting YouTube to ban you would put at least one more person.
Yeah, I can put that on my resume. I was banned from YouTube because someone made a joke about elves.
No. If you get banned for racial slurs, that means someone reviewed the video. That's one more view.
All right. So you continue on until day becomes night off the track, and you have not yet found the core you seek. Though you are slightly slowed by having to follow tracks, you can't imagine that they're still too far off. The tracks do lead off to the northwest, though you will have to camp for the night or risk fatigue from moving through the desert.
Yeah, let's set up camp for the night.
All right.
Hold on, let me see if I can actually cure fatigue.
Not permanently, you can't. You can suppress it, but you can't cure it. Okay, there's Camp 1. Camp 2.
I can just remove the fatigue condition.
No, I'm saying it doesn't. You suppress it a short time, but it doesn't actually get rid of the thing that caused the fatigue condition. Like spending days awake doesn't will build up fatigue and exhaustion, and it will only suppress that condition for a bit, just curing it. Because you still build up exhaustion from that. Alright. So next day, the party continues following what tracks may. Luckily enough, there was no desert winds that have concealed the tracks, nor any beast that has interfered with your camp so far. I need another survival check. All right, you're able to more clearly follow the tracks this time around. Though last time you didn't have any hints of doubling back, there was some doubt in the direction, and sometimes paths intersect, and you can more clearly tell out the trail. You advance another near day of traveling before you find, let's see, what should I mark this with? An amount of tents in the desert. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just mark it with a square. Yeah, so you find a bunch of tents built up between the dunes. It seems to be a camp for these dervishes. And like last time, there are wandering guards and so on present. And looking at the time, yeah, we don't have much time left, according to your guys' suggestions, and we can probably end it here for now, safely.
All right.
And
Look,
next
Master
episode,
Dwarf, a camp of mysterious dervishes. Perhaps you could introduce us to them. Surely they must have heard of you.
oh god, I'm gonna have to remember that you've prompted the dwarf, so.
With any luck, he will walk up to them in the middle of the night and get himself killed.
It's
What
the
do you
evening.
Luck. Just pull out a bow and arrow and say they did it.
Just push him on ahead. You're clearly the most diplomatic.